Walking Stick Library presents Gila Monsters, GLP-1 Antagonists, and Cancer, with your librarian hostess with the mostest, Eileen Kramer. And don't forget, you can catch this stream live on Twitch.
And yes, the weight loss drugs did come from Gila Monster venom, and these ladies inspired me, but they spent most of the video talking about how they're selling their own peptides and how you shouldn't see doctors. So this isn't a fun video to show. This is the critter, and he's beautiful. I'm glad they found something that he's valuable for besides his beautiful skin. It's a wonder he's not endangered. We ought to check to see if he is. Want to do that first? Okay. What we're going to do is just a very straight search on Animal Diversity Web. I want Google. Things go faster since I can type two-handed now. I'm in a mobile splint, in case you're curious. Anyway, I broke my wrist about a month ago. We're looking for Gila Monster and Animal Diversity Web. Let's see if we can hit it like that. Bingo! We've got the Gila Monsters. And it says, I want to see if they're endangered. And it doesn't say how big they are. And outside of captivity, in captivity, they can live 20 years. And the economic importance, of course, is positive. There is a small market for the hemipenis, which is used as an aphrodisiac. The hemipenis is a penis that is like two fingers. That hurt. Something's hurt weirdly. A small pet market for the species is also arisen because it's beautiful. And you're not allowed to own one as a pet. And the lizard is often killed because it is poisonous and is legally protected in all states. It is near threatened on the IUCN Red List. It has no special status on the US list. Okay, that's what I wanted to see, was whether it was a threatened species. Not quite, but close. Okay, now let's do the real search. Now, we've got a creature with two names. This happens anytime you are dealing with natural creatures. And that's just to be expected. And you can tell this is the first one of the night because I'm getting everything set up. Georgia. So we're looking for the Gila Monster. And we're also looking for Heloderma suspectum, which is its other name, Helioderma suspectum. And that means sunny skin. Heloderma probably means sunny skin, likes the sun itself. And let me get my pen. We're going to put these together with an or because we have both a Latin and an English name. And an or puts the broken plate together. We're going to combine this with an and we're interested in, we could be interested in the venom and see what people have done with it. We could also be looking at medicinal compounds. We could also be looking at possibly chemistry. And what we're going to do is Let me get my squigglies in here. You know what we're doing with this. I don't even have to tell you. We have a nice complex search coming up. And I hate most of these colors. Could we have a new color? Okay. Let me get my pen and we'll color this in. That looks much nicer. No, I didn't get a nice orange for us. Well, I'll do that eventually. We're going to put this together with an and I've learned to put the arrow on top of the filling. And this looks complicated when you write it, because it is. And it goes like this. So we're going to make a nest. Gila Monster or Paloderma suspectum. Close the nest, and venom. And I always do my oars in a different color. And the ands are a nice bright color. And this is what we're going to do. And you can have this, you can do this in either direction, on either side of the and. Inside the parentheses, it can go in either direction. If you are in Singapore, this would look like this. Union of X and Y. And intersecting with Z. Or is a union symbol and is an intersection symbol. And Emmanuel has decided my lapis is home. And he is purring. Are you going to be my assistant tonight? Okay, no biting if you're an assistant. Assistants aren't allowed to bite. Okay, I'm going to copy this because it's a long one. That's not the right way. We need the parentheses. Parentheses say, do me first. Do what's inside the nest first. And we can start with Google Scholar. Let me get back to my chat house. We can take a look. You want to run the search? I didn't see that earlier, but we could run that one too. Let's make another one up top. If you're joking with me, it didn't show. That can happen. I don't worry about it that much. Okay. Gila Monster. And over here we have Paloderma. Put that in quotes, Kramer. Yeah, that's good. And we'll or it. And this is so different, I really wanted it its own circle. Cancer. I'm going to see if you're joking. Let's have a look. It can't hurt. It would be good to, at this point, if we're really doing this, to know what the chemical is that they suspect is the carcinogen, because venom is a cocktail of all kinds of different things. And again, we would just, if we were, I'm not going to write this one out because we have it on the bottom, and all we would have to do. Down here, is take the venom out and replace it with cancer. And we'll see if that happens. And I may not have picked it all up, so I'm going to be a little more careful here and try again. There, we got it. And I'll type in here where we're going, because this is a place anybody can go, of course. And let's see what we get. Okay, autofill is great. Let's pop this in, and let's see. Interesting. And I'm going to say since 2021. Okay, this is a Gila monster that got sick. Guess. And this is in Zoo and Wildlife Medicine. Retrospective review of histological findings in captive Gila monsters. Okay, retrospective and histological findings in captive Gila monsters. Okay. Evaluation of neoplasia treatments and survival in lizard species. Exendin 4 and its related peptides. Okay, we can try that. Let's go to all three versions. I'm going to try oh, this is going to be a problem. Let's see what we've got. Exendin 4 is a 39 residue incretin mimetic peptide from the venom of Haloderma suspectum Gila monster and H. horridum, the bearded lizard. It is a venom analog of mammalian glucagon peptide GLP-1 and a full agonist towards the GLP-1 receptor to produce insulinotropic effects. And this was first marketed to diabetics. The structure and properties of Exendin 4 explain its better agonistic efforts on the GLP-1 receptor as compared to endogenous GLP-1 peptide. The helical region of the peptide interacts with the extracellular N-terminal domain of the GLP-1 receptor, while the C-terminal TRP cage further intensifies its binding to the receptor. Exendin 4 may act as an allosteric modulator to enable in-depth interaction. Its promising agonistic effects of GLP-1 receptor help preserve normal physiological functions of pancreatic B cells through anti-apoptotic, antioxidative, and anti-inflammatory actions. Moreover, Exendin 4 can also attenuate diabetic-related complications such as neuropathy, nephropathy, and ventricular remodeling via activation of the GLP-1 receptor. Exendin 4 is more resistant to hydrolysis by dipeptidase 4 and thus exhibits a longer half-life than GLP-1. Therefore, it presents a preferred therapeutic option for diabetes compared with GLP-1. Furthermore, the neuroprotective properties of Exendin 4 have highlighted its potential in the treatment of neurodegenerative diseases, for example, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Although Exendin 4 has a reasonable subcutaneous bioavailability, its biological half-life is only up to 4 hours, and repeated dosing regimen is required to maintain therapeutic levels. Future efforts should be directed toward a different modification approach. I don't see anything about cancer, but I do see the name of the chemical. We can try this. Okay. And if you're joking with me, yeah, that's Semeglutide. Okay. I will take a look. So let's do, we have two different chemicals. We have this one. This is the older one. We can do this pretty easily. I'm gonna do a very quick, I need to get the generic name for Ozempic. Got it. Oh, I don't want that, I want this. This isn't helping. Back we go. Semeglutide. Okay, we have both of the chemicals now. That's one, and the other one is Exendin 4, which we have right here, Exendin 4. We can try this with either of them, because this is something I didn't know, and you're being helpful. And we're looking at neoplasms. And we're gonna fill her in. At least we got it. That's not what I want. This is what I want. And we're just gonna search this and see what we get. And if it doesn't show up in Google Scholar, I got places to go. I've got lots of places to go. And this is not a synonym exactly over here. This is an alternate. So it gets a different color, if you're ever curious how we do that. So what I would do is, there we go. What I do is go back to our Google Scholar. And we'll run the search. I don't need that. I need this. And we just run it. Okay. Wow. And this is 2023. There it is. Risk of malignant neoplasia with glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor analyst. Oh wow, so lots of these. This one's out at Science Direct. We'll get this first. Data from 37 studies having 46,719 patients have been analyzed. Pancreatic cancer is not increased with semaglutide. Thyroid cancer is not increased with semaglutide. All neoplasms not increased with semaglutide, or similar in the semaglutide group. French National Health Care Insurance System database has suggested that 1 to 3 years of glucagon-like peptide receptor agonist GLP-1 exenatide, which is Exentin 4, liraglutide, and duglutide may be linked to increased occurrence of thyroid cancer. Similar data on semaglutide is not available. Hence, we undertook systematic review to look at the safety of semaglutide, focusing on different cancers. Okay. All right. So we have another name for our chemicals. And this is actually semi-useful. So that is another one we can use. Thank you. I hadn't expected that. Let's see what else we got. I love to see what we get. Risk of malignant neoplasia with glucagon like peptide 1 receptor against treatment in patients with type 2 diabetes, a meta-analysis. This is 2019. It's a little old, but we can take a look. I should bring this up in a separate window. What am I doing? Okay. Glucagon-like peptide GLP-1 receptor agonists are effective glucose-lowering drugs, but there is concern that they may increase the risk of malignant neoplasia. The present meta-analysis examined the safety of GLP-1 receptors agonists with regard to malignant neoplasia. We analyzed data from randomized controlled trials with a minimum duration of 24 weeks that assessed incidence of neoplasms in type 2 diabetes patients receiving GLP-1 receptor agonists compared with placebo or other hypoglycemic drugs. We searched Medline, Embase, Cochrane databases, and language restriction of English. Through October 1st, 2018, we carried out a meta-analysis of the available trial data using fixed effects model to calculate the odds ratios for neoplasia. Result: 34 relevant studies providing data for 50,452 patients were included in the meta-analysis compared with the incidence of malignant neoplasia with placebo or other interventions. No increase in malignant neoplasm was observed in the use of GLP-1 receptor agonists. Odds ratio 1.04, which is even money. 95% confidence interval. Semeglutide odds ratio 0.89, again close to even money. 95%, or albigatude 1.07, again a sub-analysis of trials lasting longer than 3 years showed no increase in neoplasia risk with GLP-1 receptor agonist use. Between trial, statistical heterogeneity was low. For all comparisons, GLP-1 receptor agonists can be used without safety concerns related to malignant neoplasia with type 2 diabetes. Interesting. Let's get the last 4 years only. Let's search this. Okay, we have this one. GLP-1 receptor agonist tumor-associated adverse events, a real-world study, 2004 to 2001, based on FAERS. I've never heard of FAERS, but let's take a look. And I'm not prejudiced against frontiers. I'm just not. It's peer-reviewed. I don't really care. Here's the background. GLP-1 receptor agonists, GLP-1RA, have demonstrated cardiovascular benefits, but the association between GLP-1RA and tumors is controversial. Recently, clinical trials reported higher rates of malignancy with semaglutide than control group. As real-world evidence of GLP-1RA associated tumor risk is very limited, we explored the association of GLP-1RA and all types of neoplasms by mining the FDA Adverse Event Reporting System, or FAERS, database. If FAERS is like VAERS, it's a dump. Nobody really verifies it. The FAERS data from the first quarter of 2004 to the second quarter of 2020 in the AERS mine were extracted to conduct disproportionality analysis, which was used by the proportional reporting ratio to assess the relationship between GLP-1RA and all types of neoplasms. Then the details of disproportionate GLP-1 RA associated tumor cases from 2004 to 2021 in the FAERS public dashboard was collected to analyze demographic characteristics. A total of 87 1A GLP-1RA associated tumors correlated were reported, excluding cases with pre-existing tumors, other glucose-lowering drugs, and other GLP-1RA related adverse events. Diabetes cases with GLP-1RA as the main suspected drug were selected. GLP-1RA did not cause a disproportionate increase in tumor cases. Odds ratio 0.83. At the SOC level, there was also no increase in most types of tumors associated with GLP-1RA at the HLG-THLT level. Significant signals were detected between GLP-1RA and certain tumors, including thyroid cancers, pancreatic neoplasms, and islet cell neoplasms. The combination of GLP-1RA with dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors perhaps caused the increased reporting rate in some tumors. Okay. Here we have another one. GLP-1R protagonist promotes proliferation of neuroendocrine neoplasm cells expressing GLP-1 receptors. No idea, let's grab this. Okay, Semeglutide is a glucagon-like peptide 1 analog that binds to GLP-1R on beta cells and neuronal cells and is used for treating type 2 diabetes and obesity. Insulin-secreting pancreatic neuroendocrine neoplasms have been reported to express high levels of GLP-1R protein, raising the possibility that GLP-1 receptor agonists could promote tumor growth. Our goal was to quantify GLP-1R expression levels in 6 neuroendocrine neoplasm cellular models and determine their proliferative response to semaglutide treatment. Okay, so this is an in vitro study. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it means it's in vitro. It means it's not inside a human being or an animal. It's in a petri dish or a beaker. Okay, and here we have an interesting one sitting in MedRxiv. Semeglutide for weight loss in patients with a family history of thyroid or uterine cancer, a systemic review. So we have a lot of these out there. I did not expect this, but I find it interesting. Weight loss medication semaglutide has recently become widely recognized for its effectiveness. Medical professionals have expressed safety concerns about semaglutide for patients who have a family background of thyroid or uterine cancer. The FDA has communicated about potential dangers requiring careful selection of patients before treatment. This study reviews existing research about semaglutide as a weight management treatment for patients with familial cancer histories while analyzing its potential advantages and dangers. We say pretty decent. And here we have one from the FDA adverse reporting system. We can take a look. Okay, and this is another one that is a preprint. We don't know if it's ever going to see the light of day, but I don't have a problem with people looking at preprints. Glucagon receptor, peptide receptor, GLP-1RA are one of the most commonly used drugs for type 2 diabetes. The clinical guidelines recommend GLP-1RAs as adjunct to diabetes therapy in patients with chronic kidney disease, presence or risk of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, obesity, and other cardiometabolic conditions. Weight loss seen in clinical trials has been explored further in healthy individuals, putting GLP-1 RAs on the track to be the next weight loss treatment. Although the adverse event profile is relatively safe, most GLP-1 RAs come labeled with a black box warning of the risk of thyroid cancers based on animal models and some post-marketing case reports in humans. Considering the increasing popularity of this drug class, with its expansion into a new popular indication, a further review of most post-marketing safety data is warranted. To quantify thyroid hyperplasia and neoplasms instances in this study we analyzed over 18 million reports to the Food and Drug Administration's adverse event reporting system and identified 17,653 GLP-1RA monotherapy reports to provide the evidence of significantly increased propensity for thyroid hyperplasias and neoplasms in patients taking GLP-1RA as monotherapy compared to patients taking sodium glucose cotransporter 2 inhibitor monotherapy. Okay, let's take this over to Medline land for some fun, because I'm kind of enjoying this. Let me see what you're doing in here. Okay. We can get rid of that and see. I mean, we're seeing a lot of these around. Let me get rid of this up here. Let me see. Let's get your year. Ooh, didn't mean that. Okay, safety and tolerability of citric. Okay, that's another one. New 1 year of, this is a different one. I don't see it. Let's add the mice and just see if we can cut this back a bit. Okay, this is sitagalpin treatment. And it was negative for cancer. The effect of exogenous GLP-1 on food intake. I don't see it here, but that's okay. We don't have, we may find it in Medline. Let me get a GSU up here. Let me get Google up. And we're going to go to GSU library. And it may not have been Semeglutide either. That's another reason this may not have worked. I'm thinking it may have been this thing over here. You can try that instead. Okay. And we have this, but it's not the one you wanted. GLP-1 and cancer, friend or foe. Glucagon-like GLP-1 receptor agonism, DPP4, does not, okay, so we have some mice, but it does not accelerate neoplasia in carcinogen-treated mice. Okay. And we saw this one earlier, glucagon, okay, this is ex vivo imaging of pancreatic beta cells. Okay, this is a different GLP-1R agonist, but they're doing it on thyroid cells from rodents. And I don't see anything. I do see one up here. It does not accelerate neoplasia in carcinogen-treated mice. And down here we have, there's one with rodents and man. Okay. So that's as far as we got here. Let's take a look in Medline and see what we get. I'm going to pull this back in. We can skip to Medline by going below this box where this is a Discover box. We go below it where we have an alphabet. We click M and we get down here to Medline with full text. And we're going to go into the thesaurus and type this in and see what we have. I don't see it. Let's go back a page and see if we do better. GLP-1 receptor agonists use glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonists. Perfect, we got it. Say yes. We can't explode it, but we can measure it. And we're going to try to run this again. I'm just going to run the search right now. It doesn't matter what we get, because we're going to run another thesaurus search on neoplasms. This time we may do better. Major concept, search the database. And yes, you're going to have huge results, but we don't care. We go down to the search history. We take these two. We remove this guy. And we search with and. And we've got 47. Okay. The effect of GLP-1R agonist on the medical triad of obesity, diabetes, and cancer. This is what year? 2024. And we can view the record at the publisher's website. Okay, here they're treating polycystic ovary syndrome. Here we have a systemic review of liver cancer. Let's see what this one is. We got the whole article. This one is glucagon-like peptide 1 receptors agonists have garnered significant attention for their therapeutic potential in addressing interconnected health challenges of diabetes, obesity, and cancer. The role of GLP-1R in type 2 diabetes mellitus is highlighted, emphasizing its pivotal contribution to glucose homeostasis, promoting beta cell proliferation, and facilitating insulin release. GLP-1R agonists have effectively managed obesity by reducing hunger, moderating food intake, and regulating body weight. Beyond diabetes and obesity, GLP-1R agonists exhibit a multifaceted impact on cancer progression across various malignancies. The mechanism underlying these effects involve the modulation of signaling pathways associated with cell growth and survival and metabolism. However, current literature reveals a lack of in vivo studies on specific GLP-1R agonists, such as Semeglutide, necessitating further research to elucidate its precise mechanisms and effects, particularly in cancer. While other GLP-1R agonists have shown promising outcomes in mitigating cancer progression, the association between GLP-1R agonists and an increased risk of cancer remains a topic requiring more profound investigation. Wow. And here we have liver cancer, and here we have okay, this is uterine cancer. This one is, I'm looking at dates here. This is very new. Glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonists for weight management, a review for the gynecologic oncologist. Let's have a look. It can't hurt. 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 It can't hurt Yep. Then we can even get the PDF and embiggen it, which works super well. And here it says the use of glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonists has experienced rapid growth amidst the obesity epidemic in the United States. While originally developed for glucose control in type 2 diabetes mellitus, the scope of these agents now extends to encompass weight loss and cardiovascular risk reduction. GLP-1RAs have the potential to induce significant weight loss in combination with lifestyle modifications among adults who are overweight or obese. Furthermore, these agents demonstrate efficacy in ameliorating hyperglycemia, enhancing insulin sensitivity, regulating blood pressure, and improving cardiometabolic parameters, mitigating kidney dysfunction, and potentially reducing the risk of several obesity-related cancers. Drug-related toxicity is primarily gastrointestinal, and active management can prevent drug discontinuation. Obesity is associated with an increased incidence of malignancy, but also with decreased survival. More research is needed to evaluate the potential use of GLP-1RA to modify endocrine functions of adipocytes, regulate chronic inflammatory state associated with obesity, and prospective applications in oncology. These agents can impact patients with gynecologic malignancies both through their direct mechanism of action as well as potential drug toxicity. Interesting. Let's clean up this mess and keep going. I think we're here. Ooh, here we have prostate cancer. So they are searching this all over the place. It's not always a yes. Let's do one more. Effect of glucagon-like peptide. Effect of glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonists on prostate cancer, a review. And let's check the publisher. And I'm kind of glad we went off track. The Gila Monsters are beautiful, but glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor against GLP-1RA is widely used in treatment of type 2 diabetes for its significant hypoglycemic effect, weight loss, and small side effects. Some studies have shown that GLP-1RA has an inhibitory effect on prostate cancer, and its application will produce adverse effects associated with an increased or decreased risk of some tumors. GLP-1R is widely expressed by various cell types and tissues in the human body. So GLP-1RA has attracted wide clinical attention to the occurrence, development, and prognosis of tumors, which brings more new directions and hopes for the treatment of prostate cancer. This paper describes the expression of glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor in prostate cancer and the effects of glucagon peptide 1 receptor agonist on prostate cancer. Okay, you were interested in where were we with this? Colon neoplasms. I'm going to take this and copy it and see if it appears anywhere. Let's get you that article. Out of curiosity, let's just throw it in the hopper and see what we get. Interesting. So there you've got your colon cancer, 2012. A little different, but I think that's your article. Don't you love the NIH? They give us free stuff. Free stuff is good. Okay, here we have it. Glucagon-like peptide 2 increases dysplasia in rodent models of colon cancer. First published in... Okay, so this has been brought up. Let's see if we can get to the beginning. That must be the abstract. The intestinal hormone glucagon-like peptide 2 enhances intestinal growth and reduces inflammation in rodent models. Hence, degradation-resistant GLP-2 analog is under investigation for treatment of Crohn's disease. However, GLP-2 increases colonic dysplasia in murine as oxymethane-induced colon cancer. Considering the increased colon cancer risk associated with chronic colitis, we have therefore examined the effects of long-acting GLP-2 as well as endogenous GLP-2 in 2 novel models. And we were looking for 1, not 2, so we're not quite in the right spot, unfortunately. I'm not seeing much. Now we could look for colon cancer over here instead of just straight neoplasms. I could go in here and type colon neoplasms. Very basic. And they call them colonic neoplasms. Okay. Grab it, major it, search it. Okay, wipe everybody out, and then we're going to go back here and go to S1 and S4 and search with and. Nothing. No, I don't want to do that. Get lost. Okay. And we'll get the name from here. Oh, these are so long. I'll see if that works. Tell you what, let me get the search history open because that works way better. There's your long name. Okay, now we'll put that in. Go. And I can close the search history up because it's messy and can have, okay. Exendin 4 does not modify growth or apoptosis of human colon cancer cells. And if we work our way down here, this is where we go. Sorry we didn't get much, but we got a lot of other cancers. We got a lot of negatives, so it's kind of a mix. Glucagon-like 1 receptor agonists, glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonists, that's a mouthful, are a kind of very popular anti-diabetes drug. They promote cell proliferation and survival through activation of signaling pathways in human islet cells involving phosphate, idylynositol 3 kinase, PI3K, and extracellular related kinases, which are frequently activated in human colon cancer cells. That it is possible that taking GLP-1 receptor agonists persistently would induce proliferation of B cells as well as colon cancer cells. So clarifying the effect mechanisms of GLP-1R agonists on colon cancer cells has important clinical implications. So you're right. This is kind of impressive. Well, we did the GLP-1s for that reason. And yeah, you had a 2. The 2 is a different thing, but yeah, there is no question people are studying this. Whether we've got any conclusive results, I don't know. That would make this a very interesting paper to write, because you'd be going back and forth and back and forth, and this happens, but this doesn't happen. It's a bear of a paper to write if you're not a good paper writer. And learning those tricks of how to write a paper where the evidence comes down the middle and you're reporting it back is a big piece of college English, or a big piece of just paper writing in general. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, you can catch me live on Twitch.